Darling, reach out. Reach out. Chassis, man. So, Keno. I'll call you back, baby. I'll call you back. Alright, we're rolling. Shasti. I'll call you back, baby, okay? Alright. Text me if you need me, babe. Hey! See? Text me if you need me. Thank you. Reach out. Reach out. Are we laughing at two? Miss count on you. Alright, we're live on the tube, guys. We're live on the tube, but we're not live on TikTok. So let me get everything straightened out on the TikTok. On the talk. I mean, I think we're not live on TikTok. I'm not sure. We're not having any internet connection issues, so we should be good. Alright. So we are live now on TikTok. Let me talk to y'all TikTok. Jordan, I'm here. I'm here, Jordan. And Toya. Toya's correct. Let me pause the wave real quick. Toya is correct. Toya said that I'll be streaming live on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And Toya, that's absolutely correct. I was traveling this weekend and I got behind on things. So I realized on Tuesday that I wasn't able to stream. So Toya, you are absolutely correct. Moving forward, we will do these live streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I would love, at some point, daily live streaming, that's always the goal. That's always the goal. But with me being in the middle of opening up, well, actually, not opening, but implementing new systems, this is what's best right now. So if I can go live twice weekly, that's gonna make me feel really good. It's gonna give us a lot of good momentum as we do our best to spread our message across different platforms. So twice weekly for now, every Tuesday and every Thursday. That's what we have, and we have a very exciting live stream for y'all today. I'm just fixing this. I like that. That's pretty good. All right, I like that. Jordan, I'm doing great. How are you, Jordan? Toya, I'm happy that y'all remember this type of stuff. Y'all keep your boy accountable. You're like, you said you were gonna go live at this time and you never went. I love that, and I need that. I'm looking at the internet. Looks like we have no internet issues. All right, so we're doing good. Let's get this music going. Let's get a little bit of a stem break, and let's get loose. Let's get to feeling good, funky and fresh, and then we will bring our friends in from the book, and then we'll continue. We went from rags to riches, project fences, not even luxury. Straight out the bottom. Be careful. Talk to him. Toya, big facts. Y'all gonna keep me accountable, and I can count y'all to do that. Cause that type of don't phase a player. This type of is what make a hater when you got it out the mud, yeah. Rags to riches, 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 rags to riches. Ooh, y'all heard that? I know y'all heard that. Jordan says, just finished doing some research on some autism symptoms I've been having relieved. Okay, Jordan, are you pursuing a diagnosis? Rags to riches, rags to riches, rags to riches. Rags to riches, rags to riches, rags to riches, rags to riches, rags to riches. That boy Broadway be stimming on the beat. He might be one of us. Tatum is joining. Tatum is scrolling between classes. Tatum, okay. And Jordan says, not exactly. The research I've done has led me to clear up some questions I've had about it. All right, guys. So here's the thing about my community, and I want this to be evident. This is a community where we support one another. We do our best to learn about ourselves and to learn about the world around us. When you understand how you work, you put yourself in the best possible position to succeed. But we cannot get things done on our own. So we will need help from our friends, our coworkers, our community, the people that are around us. So in this community, I want y'all to, when you see somebody that you rock with in the comment section, add them, talk to them, like get to know people. Since COVID, we've been more, what's the word I'm looking for? We just haven't been as connected as we could be. And even pre-COVID, I don't know how connected we were because we've been on our phones and things like that. So I need us to be a bit more communicative with our friends in the chat. Rags to riches, rags to riches. Rags to riches, rags to riches, rags to riches, rags to riches. Let me see what people are saying in the chat before I bring in our people from the book. Also, I found that only 16% of people with bipolar 1 graduate college. I plan to be in that 16%. Tatum, we support you over here. Y'all drop the W's in the chat for Tatum. The W's in the chat. Or the clapping hands emoji. You gotta love or in the form of a depressive episode. It can be pretty rough. So just know that you have the support of this whole community. W's in the chat. W's in the chat for Tatum. W's in the chat. All right, guys, we're going to bring on our friends. Bring in our friends from the book. Y'all know what I'm talking about when I say the book, all right? So we're going to bring in our friends from the book and allow them to also enjoy this live stream, right? Looks like we're ready to go live on the book. We're having some connectivity issues, guys. I don't know exactly what is going on, but we're having some connectivity issues. All right. If y'all can see the stream pretty good, I want you to drop a 1 in the chat. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see the stream pretty good before we bring in our boys and girls from the book. 1's in the chat if you're seeing and hearing me correctly. This is how we have to communicate in this technology world. 1's in the chat. All right. 1 from Michelle, 1 from Charlie, 1 from Hazel. DZ says 1. Looks like we're good. Turn off some devices, I guess. Well, you're right. I will do that. I hopped off of Wi-Fi, off of my phone. That's how Wi-Fi is sometimes. You can't be on everything with the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi don't like that. One's in the chat. Okay, let's say connection lost. Be back soon. Oh, make it fakey. Oh, make it fakey. Oh, make it fakey. Alright, let me go look at the router real quick. Give me 1 second, guys. Alright, guys, let's just bring on our people from the book and see what happens, alright? Let's just try. Alright. Looks like y'all can see me good. So let's go and bring in our friends from the book so we can talk about our topic tonight. Alright. I think we're live everywhere. Baby. Let's get it. If you are just now joining us on the live stream, I want to welcome you to the late night show with Dr. Kojo. This episode, we're going to be talking about 4 signs of autism at home. These are 4 things that you could be doing if you're autistic. Now, you could also be doing these things in general too, and they would be considered autistic traits, but it doesn't mean that you have autism. So you need more than these 4 things to get a diagnosis, but that's what we're talking about today. So I'm so excited to get into it. Once again, if you've been watching on one of the other platforms, that's pretty cool. If you just not joined on the book, use the comment section to let me know what your name is and where you're streaming from, or where you're watching this stream from. All right. And if you just joined on TikTok or on the tube, once again, drop your name in the comment section so I can see your name and also where you're watching it from. Because a lot of people have different names. You know, somebody might have, Gamer Boy 308 and his name is Darren. All right. Melissa from Jersey. Melissa, we welcome you to the stream. We got Lisa from Compton, California. Fatima from Jersey. Feral Cat. Julie from Rhode Island. The signal's going up and it's going down. It's going up and it's going down. That sucks, but we'll navigate our way around it. We got Karen from Utah. Leona from England, and it's 2:44 a.m. Leona, I just want to say that I appreciate your attention. We have a lot of people who watch in the United Kingdom. So we have an international audience, but we tend to go live pretty late. It's even late for people who are watching on the East Coast. It's 9:45 in New York City right now, 9:45 in Atlanta. So the fact that you're watching at 2:44 in England, I do appreciate your attention. Thank you so much. Chris from Indiana. Okay, Chris. Chris from Indiana. Let me see. Tina. Tina from Germany. Tina from Germany on the tube. Tina, I see you. And Tina, I appreciate you. I see you typing. I have Asperger's syndrome with comorbidities. Sorry for my English. You ain't gotta apologize for your English. I can understand you just fine. I'll understand you just fine. You got better English than some of us over here. Your English is better than me. My English before 7 a.m. is not really English. You can't really hear what I'm saying. Amber from New Jersey. Okay. Melissa, East Coast. Michelle from Philly. Love Life, L from Canada. So we have Canada in the house tonight. We have Germany in the house tonight as well. We have obviously the United States of America in the house. Emily, what's going on? Alright, so we have a lot of people streaming. Why I keep saying streaming? We have a lot of folks watching this stream from a lot of different places. Let me see, I feel like the camera's kind of uneven. Signs of autism at home. you're so worried about how even the camera is. Yes, somebody who has ADHD can also have autism too. Somebody who has autism can have ADHD. Somebody who has autism can have bipolar disorder. These are not like a one size fits all, or because you have one, you can't have the other. This is not that sort of deal. All right. Yeah, Michelle, it is streaming to you. And yes, I do work in the mental health field. If you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Dr. Kojo. I'm your Hollywood mental health expert. I'm a doctorally prepared mental health nurse practitioner, a content creator, a comedian. Come see me at a show soon. And also a fellow neurodivergent. And I post content in the form of skits and songs and dances and signs and symptoms videos to help you understand yourself a little bit better. I want all of my people in my community to be feeling good. I want them to be feeling funky. I want you to be feeling fresh. I want you to be, fostering non-transactional relationships in your life. I want you to set boundaries. I want you to be exercised. I want you to walk. I want you to run. I want you to lift. I want you to look good. All my boys and girls need to look as good as they can, need to feel as good as they can. So if you're not moving towards that direction and you're watching my content, then clearly I'm doing something incorrectly. All right. Kayla from Wisconsin. Kayla, what's up? Princess says, wow, I've never seen you live. Well, get used to it because I'm going to be going live on Tuesdays and Thursdays now. So a bit of a switch up in the schedule. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 o'clock California time or West Coast time, which is 9 o'clock in New York, 8 o'clock in Nashville, 7 o'clock in Arizona, 6 o'clock on the West Coast. All right? 6 o'clock on the West Coast. And we'll have more live streams about bipolar 2. Today's about autism, but we'll have more live streams about bipolar 2. And after the live stream, towards the end of the live stream, we do Q&A anyway. All right? And I have 4 signs of what autism can look like at home. But before I get into these 4 signs, I want to say a very, very special thank you to my entire community on social media. We crossed 5 million followers this year in total on all of our platforms. But I want to specifically thank my followers on the book. So my Matter family, IG, we love y'all, but specifically Facebook. I'm talking about Facebook right here. I want to thank you for your attention. We just crossed over 1 billion views in the year of 2025. I was going to say in the month of 2025. It feels heavy. I really appreciate y'all. I love my followers on every platform, but specifically my people on Facebook. Thank you for your attention over the years, and specifically this year. It's been a goal of mine to hit 1 billion views in a year, and it's such a big number. It doesn't look like it's achievable, but we were able to do that as a team effort. And your attention, and people sharing the videos and engaging in the comments and DMing me your stories. I appreciate every single last one of y'all. So I just want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate y'all. So my Facebook community, y'all are strong, and this is my fastest growing platform. When I meet somebody, out in the wild or at the airport, people normally say things like, oh, I haven't seen you on my TikTok For You page in a long time, but I see you on Facebook all the time. So wherever you see me at and however you get this content, I'm just happy that you're watching me. But to my people on Facebook, 1 billion views in the year of 2025. And we're not in November yet. We still have 2 more months to go. So that's super cool. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Krista, Heather from Scotland, Kenzie, thank you. Emily, Kayla, thank you. I really appreciate y'all. All right, let's get into the signs. All right, so we're talking about, I don't know if my Facebook, my TikTok thing here is frozen. Okay, it's not frozen. It looked like it froze for a second. All right, guys, so 4 signs of what autism can look like at the house. So if you caught the stream about 12 minutes ago or however long ago it was, I was talking about how you can have these signs, but it does not mean that you have autism. In order to be diagnosed with autism, you have to go through a formal evaluation, which can take quite some time, and it can be quite expensive. When we're doing this, we do 3 appointments: a psychiatric evaluation, then the assessment for autism, then another appointment to review the results, and so on and so forth. So it would take 3 appointments the way I do it, but it's an extensive process. And you talk about how you relate past 2 years, and they look at your developmental history, what type of a kid were you growing up. It's a deep and extensive process to be diagnosed with autism. So there's no way that you can look at these 4 signs and know that you're autistic, right? But whenever people identify with a certain condition and they research more into it and they review how their life has been and they look at the things that people have told them and the things that they've experienced, sometimes it starts to make sense. And when it starts to make too much sense, that means it's time to get in somebody's office. It's time to talk to a professional. It's time to, figure out how you can understand yourself better. So with all that being said, number 1, the first potential sign of autism at home, all right? Same clothes, different day. That's my way of saying somebody who enjoys wearing the same clothes. Are you somebody who has a big wardrobe? You have quite a few clothes. You may have a wardrobe full or 2 wardrobes full. Like, you have your clothes there, and you have a lot of clothes that you can choose from. However, you tend to wear the same 4 to 6 outfits all the time, and you like to mix and match. You have different variations, and you may have a favorite pair of pants, or for some women who are on the spectrum, they don't like pants, so you might want to do leggings. You have your favorite pair of leggings that you wear, but either you'll buy that same pair of leggings from the same brand multiple times, so that way you have 4 black leggings, and that way you don't have to wash them as much, okay? Or you have a couple of clothes, a couple of jeans, maybe 2 jeans that are like your tried and true. So you got your 2 jeans right here, and then you have a couple of shirts that you rotate. So you find ways to, alternate here and there, but for the most part, you don't have a lot of variation. But it's still the same clothes. You prefer to wear the same thing. Somebody who likes to wear the same clothes every day does not mean that they're automatically autistic. But this is an autistic trait. And I believe that when you wear the same clothes, brain power, or what am I going to wear today? What should I wear today? What did I wear yesterday? Know what you wore every single day, because it doesn't really change like that. Certain style to you, and even if you don't think that you're stylish, you got a little style to you. You wear the same type of colors too. And for me, I definitely wear the same clothes over and over. I tend to repeat. And I tend to keep my colors consistent. I prefer darker colors, right? I prefer darker colors because I know that I get things dirty. So, I got this one off the TikTok shop. I love these compression shirts, right? I like the way that it feels like it hugs me. I'm being hugged by the shirt. I like that. I have about 3 of these shirts that are navy blue, just like this. I have a couple of white ones, but I prefer to wear the darker colored shirts. Because if I spill something on it, you can't really notice it. And I tend to be a bit accident prone. So if I spill my protein, milk, drink on it, wipe it off a little bit and just keep it moving. If it's a white shirt, I could be done for. So I tend to keep my colors pretty dark. I like the navy blues, I like the black, and I'm particular with my colors, so I can tell the difference between the navy blue and the black. Sometimes you can't until you get outside the house. That's why in the morning, if you wear a lot of navy blue and or black, make sure you put on a bright light, make sure you get outside and make sure that you didn't put a navy blue with a black with intentions of matching. Alright? So you could have a tendency to repeat the same type of clothing if you're on the spectrum, and this is just normal to you. You don't realize that people like to wear a lot of different clothes. People want variety. They want to mix and match. It doesn't make sense to you that people would spend so much money on certain clothes and outfits and shoes and bags and suits and not wear them. Because you pretty much wear 2 or 3 things, 2 or 3 variations. You tend to keep it pretty consistent. And when you're in grade school, Jessica, I appreciate that. I see you like the glasses. Thank you. When you're in grade school and you want to mask by wearing different types of clothing, but you're not the type of person to really like clothing, this can be draining. Obviously, masking is something that delays diagnosis. You see it more with autistic women, but guys can definitely do it. This sort of thing is gonna drain you quickly because you're trying to fit in with other people. So you're wearing all the different clothes. You go get the name brand clothes, which is more expensive. You don't even like it in the first place. When you're home, you wear perspective. I gotta wear different shoes every day. I gotta be fresh. I gotta have Jordans on. I gotta have Nikes on. I gotta wear different shirts every day. I gotta be fresh. On top of taking a shower every day and brushing my teeth every day. It's just a lot of work. A lot of mental work. And I see that my stream is going in and out. We're gonna pray to God that it hold up. We're gonna pray to God. Alright? Linus says, I had like 20 red shirts. Wow. The connection is going in and out. I hope that it's more in than out. I hope we can say more in than out. And if you're watching on the book, I'm on the talk. Look at me, these abbreviations. If you're watching on the talk, I just pinned a message right there. You can DM me an email address. We'll shoot you a link to all the services that we offer. And it has all the information about my next upcoming comedy shows, whether you want psych services or coaching services, all of that stuff. Shoot us your email via DM, and then we will get it back out to you. Jessica says, black leggings with pockets. And see, anytime somebody says, if I were a girl or if I were a boy, not including Beyonce, but anytime somebody says that, you have to understand that whatever they're about to say, take it with a grain of salt, because they are not that, right? So I'm not a girl, but if I were a girl, I would imagine that I would like to wear black leggings with pockets. That sounds like something that you can put with many different outfits, right? Because if you get like red leggings or like bright pink leggings, it's like people can tell if you wore that over and over and over and over again, and it gets dirty easier because it's like a light color. So now, like, I got a big spot on my leggings, but like a black pair of leggings, if you spill a couple of things on it, like you can just do more with a black pair of leggings. I don't think you can go wrong with the classics. I don't think. And look, guys, sometimes less is more. When you see the autistic homie out in the wild and they're fresh, they're probably just keeping it simple. Autistic lady looking great out there on the street, black leggings, white shirt, nice simple outfit. The autistic homie out there playing basketball, black joggers, white Air Forces, white tee. Maybe put on like a little watch or something like that. Put some cologne, fresh, and it's simple. You don't need all these different colors, and then you got the jacket here, and just fresh and simple. You don't need all these different outfits. Now, if you want different outfits, that's fine, but just simple will do it. Simple will do it. The autistic homies keep it simple because they tend to wear the same thing over and over again. And guys, if you have a favorite shirt or something like that, and or pair of pants, and you haven't washed it in a while, yeah, it'll pick up an odor. It could smell. These are all things that could happen. Angela, I appreciate your attention on the tube. Thank you very much. These are all things that can happen, right? Like your clothes could start to stink. Yes, it can happen. But when you tend to wear the same thing over and over, it makes dressing up very easy. It's very time consuming to figure out different outfits to wear. It's very time consuming. Let me see. I think we lost our signal on the book. I will repin the message on the talk. I gotta unpin it, then I gotta pin it again. Alright. Let me see. Are we still streaming on Facebook? Maybe we are, maybe we aren't. Okay, we still are. Cool. Julie says, I have 11 red shirts, 6 khakis. Okay, Julie, I like that. April says, the more simple, the better it is to keep everything tidy at home as well. I agree. Jacqueline, less is always more, especially for just picking an outfit to just get out of the house. More is overwhelming. I agree. Like, it's just so much simpler to have a go-to outfit. And you have to ask yourself, like, if you spend a lot of time thinking about what to wear, ask yourself, who am I trying to impress? Am I trying to impress a gym crush, or am I trying to impress that girl in the 11th grade history class? Or like what are you trying to accomplish? Now, if you're trying to impress somebody, okay, all right, you know, you might put more effort into your clothing, and this is where it's tough. Like if you're in grade school or high school, because I remember those days. Those are some of the harder days of my life. Having to be fresh every day. I don't want to be fresh. I want to wear something that's simple. I don't want to have to spend so much energy and effort and time into an outfit. And fortunately for me, one thing that was good was that coming up, I grew up in Metro Atlanta. Well, Cobb County to be specifically. You know, in mid-2000s, 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, this is when I was in middle school and high school. So this is around the time that T.I. was big, Young Jeezy was big, Gucci Mane was big. And back then, the way you would dress, and some of y'all who are old like me, or OGs, back me up on this. Sometimes you could go outside with just a white tee. A 3X white tee. Any pants, it doesn't matter. Maybe some white Air Forces. They don't have to be that clean. But a big white tee was your outfit in Atlanta. Just a big, yup, in my white tee. Just a big white tee. And that was one of the most liberating times to be one of the autistic homies, right? You just put on the big white tee, 3X, 4X. You know, it goes down to your knees. It was diabolical what we were doing back then. Yeah, Lauren, right? Yeah. White tall tees. I mean, I had homies 5'7" wearing a big 5'7", maybe 130 pounds. Like, I had guys, that's their height and weight. They're wearing these big 3X, 4X white tees. They made things simple. Sandy says, so I'm not supposed to wear the witch hat and True Religion jeans everywhere. Hey, if Fact, Jessica, you had the white tee with the chain on. Where's my chain at? Where's my chain on? Signal was struggling. Okay, I think I'm back. Yeah, but the white tall tee with the chain. Times were simpler back then. It was so simple. It was so simple back then. All right, number 2. Second sign of autism at home. If you're just joining us now, the first sign was same clothes, different day. Having the tendency to repeat the same clothing. That's a sign of autism at home. Potential sign of autism at home. Number 2, eating the same food every single day. Whether it's a cereal, whether it's fried chicken, whether it's chicken and rice. A lot of the autistic guys out there, well, guys in general, I think chicken and rice is our safe go-to meal. You know, nothing screams more single. Nothing screams a single guy more than chicken and rice. Is a staple, and it's a good meal. I could eat chicken and rice every day. I really could. It's just, you know, I'm not single, but I could eat that meal every day. It's a great meal. But if you have a comfort food that you tend to repeat over and over and over and over again, this could be a sign of autism at the house, right? Autism at the house. What are the foods that we like to eat every single day, and why do we eat these foods? And then lastly, how long can we eat these foods for? Because sometimes a food will be a safe food, but you may burn out from that food. It could be a safe food, and it could also be a hyperfixation. Because we'll go through these modes where we become fixated on a certain type of a meal, and we can eat that thing for 2.5 or 3 weeks straight. 3 weeks straight. And my muse says, at the house, you mean everywhere. You could really eat this meal everywhere. And sometimes you like this meal so much that when you do switch it up, the only reason why you switch it up is because you don't want to get tired of it. You don't want to burn yourself out from this meal. Because if you eat something all the time and you don't throw like just a little bit of variation in there, you could get to a point where you're sick of this meal. Some meals we'll never get sick of, but sometimes you could just be sick of this meal. Like, damn, I am done with Brussels sprouts. I am done with fried chicken. I don't want any more chicken nuggets. With autistic kids, I tend to see that it's better to not switch up the meals. Like, I think as an adult, every now and then, if you like to, I like kava. And I don't have any brand deal or relationship with kava. I just like kava. I don't even go to Chipotle anymore, right? But as an adult, every now and then, I might just throw in a Chipotle here and there just to, just to keep things honest, and not to burn myself out from kava. But I'm a kava person. I'm not a Chipotle person anymore. But I found with autistic kids, do not change what they don't do it. Don't change their meals. If they like chicken nuggets and they like it cut a certain way, give them chicken nuggets and give it to them cut in a certain way. Do not change the meal. This can lead to temper tantrums. This can lead to a lot of issues. Do not change the meal. Do not change your meal. One second. Do not change your meal. Meg from Maine, what's going on? Julie says only switch for holidays. Julie, I'm not sure if you're talking about autistic kids, but some kids, if you switch what they eat on holidays, they could be very upset. They could be very upset. Do not change. Of course, leave it up to the kid. Give them autonomy so that way they can feel like, they're making these decisions. But do not switch. And like Jessica said, don't mess with the kids. Spoons and forks will fly. Yeah. And of course, parents gotta be parents. And parents get to put the foot down. And kids don't really rule. Kids are not supposed to rule the house. However, if your child has these needs, switching up a meal, even if it's Christmas or Thanksgiving, they may have to have a separate meal on Thanksgiving, which is chicken nuggets and fries. Of course, with fries, they can't eat fries all the time because, it could lead to, fries and ice cream and candy and soda. As parents, we got to regulate that stuff because we just know that in excess can lead to health problems. But for the most part, something that's relatively nutritional, if they want to keep eating that, let them eat that, even on Thanksgiving, even on Black Friday, even on White Friday, Green Friday, Christmas. Let them keep their meal. Just let them keep their meal. I think it'll be better for them. Amy said alphabets for breakfast every day for most of my childhood. School lunch all through elementary school. Wonder bread with margarine, lettuce, and bologna, and apple, preferably very red. So Amy, on the book, Amy's specific food choices are very descriptive. So that's what I tend to see with somebody who has autism. It's a very specific type of way you like your food. And if the food's not prepared a certain type of way, it's not going to be a go. This is why the preparation of food, it matters. Of course, the food has to taste good, but sometimes you can eat a meal that tastes really good and it tastes good, but if it's prepared a certain way, you're like, I can't eat this. It's just not right. Something is not right about this meal. It's just not right for me. Something is not right. Something is not right. Ali, baked chicken and vegetable in my house. Staple for all my kid. And change is hard for us. Look, some people cannot eat baked. Actually, not some. I would argue, I don't have the evidence to back it up, but I'd argue that most people cannot eat baked chicken and vegetable every single day. I could. I really could. I mean, I wouldn't want to, but I could eat baked chicken and vegetable every single day. And I don't think it's neurodivergence. I mean, well, it is a little bit, admittedly, but it's more so me wanting to get my protein goals, me wanting to stay consistent with, my gym routine, so on and so forth. But the average person is not eating baked chicken and vegetable every day. No. Rowan says, my parents forced me to eat the stuff I didn't like, and they would set the timer while I cried. Rowan, I'm very sorry to hear that. And this is why the diagnoses are very helpful, because if you're somebody who you were diagnosed as a kid and you're pursuing a diagnosis later in life, or you were diagnosed later in life, you were probably punished for this as a kid, right? So your parents probably were stressed, as parents are, and they may have taken it out on you, and they wanted you to be just like, your siblings. Hey, we eat dinner at 6 o'clock. It's time to come out, eat as a family, and eat this same thing that we eat. Eat the meal that's been prepared for the whole family, and eat it within 30 minutes. If you take too long to finish your dinner, now you're holding us up. Now we can't go to bed on time. Now we're going to be late to work. So you have 30 minutes to eat this meal, and you can't complain about this meal. And if you ask for a different meal, then that's us showing favoritism to you over your siblings. So now you got to eat this meal. And a lot of kids were tortured. And a lot of times when parents don't know this, it's not done intentionally. I believe that a lot of this is due to a lack of education, and I don't think that your parents are intentionally trying to torture you. Maybe some parents are. There's some parents who shouldn't be parents. I'll say that, but a lot of parents inadvertently and without even knowing probably cause some trauma and some avoidant food behaviors in their kids by forcing them to eat the same thing that everybody else got to eat. Julie says, as a child, I would only eat my cereal if prepared in the correct order. Cereal, then milk, then a little sugar on top. Yeah, Julie. Yep. That's how I eat my cereal too. Wrong order, and I would have a tantrum. Yeah, my mother put sugar on everything. At least I grew out of that. Yeah, sugar on everything is not good. So, with cereal, that's how I eat it too. No other order is acceptable. I don't know if this is a thing for y'all, but for me, I put the cereal in first. Then I put milk. And if I'm combining two different cereals, I'll put cereal 1 in and cereal 2. But the cereal should be in the bowl. And then I put the milk there. And then I can add any sugar. Yeah, sometimes I would add sugar to corn flakes. We couldn't always afford the Frosted Flakes as a kid. So sometimes I had to make my own Frosted Flakes, which is just putting sugar on top of the regular corn flakes. It's taking matters into my own hands. Laura says, I have my autism assessment on the 30th and I'm nervous. I have already been diagnosed with ADHD. I'm apparently collecting them all. Laura, well, the fact that you're even going for an assessment, you should be proud of yourself. We all salute you, and we see you. We salute you and we see you. Alice says, I'm 25 just now understanding signs of autism. Didn't know it was a thing. Yeah, no, a lot of people don't know, and they figure it out now. That's why we have these live streams, right? That's why we have these live streams. And a meal for like 2 weeks, and I just don't want to eat it no more. Allison, so we see that a lot.
So even though the second side of autism at home that we have for this live stream is eating the same thing over and over, there are certain hyperfixation foods that we have that we can only tolerate for a certain amount of time. After that 2 or 3 weeks is over, no more Cheez-Its, no more Ritz Bits. And now the thing that you love so dearly, the sight of it or the smell of it makes you want to throw up. So it's funny how we can like a food in general. And we can go through periods where we really like it and periods where we really hate it. And you never know when the switch is coming. When you wake up, you're like, okay, this could be the day where I eat my last Cheez-It for the year. And sometimes you go through cycles where you might not enjoy this food for years, and all of a sudden you develop a taste for it again. And then you wear out the food over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Sandy, funny comment by Sandy. I've seen white people live off boiled chicken, no seasoning. Is that only white people who do that? These people will stir fry chicken with corn. Okay, I don't know if that's a white people thing. Stir fry chicken with cornflakes? I don't know if that's an any people thing. Stir fry chicken with cornflakes. Wow. Okay. I mean, let's leave it up to the white people. White people in the chat, is this a thing? Stir fried chicken with cornflakes. I know a lot of white people, and I've never heard of that before. Maybe it's a new thing. I don't know. I've never heard of that before in my life. Or air fry. Okay. And Sarah says, 44, just diagnosed last month. My children who are on the spectrum and now teenagers started calling me out. And Jessica says, breaded. Jessica, breaded what? I mean, if there's a food that, white people have created that is taking the nation by storm and is really good and is neurodivergent friendly, please put me on. If it's not good, then I don't want to know. If it's good, put me on, please. Sarah was diagnosed at 44. My children who are on the spectrum and now teenagers started calling me out. And this is what we're seeing a lot. And there's a chance that Sarah was exhibiting these symptoms as a kid, wearing the same things at home all the time, or preferring the same outfits, having the safe foods that she would eat all the time. But back in the day, I don't think they called this autism. They just called it, just being a young girl, just being different. There was no name for it. Which is why it's good now that people are getting this knowledge and they're able to understand themselves on a granular level. They put raisins in potato salad. Oh, okay. No, I've seen that before. I've seen that. That's a classic white dish. Yeah, raisins in potato salad. Okay. Cheez-Its. Okay, Jessica. Cheez-Its are pretty good in general, so I can see Cheez-Its being mixed with other things. Laura says, my parents would force me to sit at the table for hours if I didn't eat my dinners, saying I couldn't leave until I ate it. Sometimes I'd fall asleep at the table. My mom said the pediatric nurse told her to do it, saying I'd eat it eventually. And guys, this is why neurodivergence and or education about neurodivergence is important, because back in the day, this is how people used to think. And this is coming from qualified healthcare professionals and nurses and doctors. This is how they would parent back in the day. And I don't think it was because money is tight. Money is always tight, theoretically. There's always a hard time at some point in time for people. But to make a child sit at the table and eat their food, and if they can't finish their food, they have to sit there. Like, I was forced to do that as a kid too in some capacity, but I was a crafty kid. So, I would find ways to take the food, and I would, I'd have like a little bag with me, and I would put the food in there. Like, it was meant for me to move to LA and go to Hollywood because I was an actor from a very early age. I would take the food and I would like maybe put like a little bit on the side of my mouth. I would put the rest in a bag, wait for my parents to go out, and I would take the bag and then tie the bag within my book bag. So now you can't really smell it. And then the food would be finished. And then my parents would ask me how the food was, and I'd say, food was good. It was good. I'd take some more, but I'm tired. Sometimes I'll take the food, to school, take it on the school bus and like throw it out, spray the bag down. Like I had a whole little system for how I would circumvent eating the food, and we were not in any position to waste food because we did not have money like that. But when you are forced to eat food because your parents don't want you to waste it, and there's no conversation about neurodivergence or sensory sensitivities. Like I couldn't eat beans. I still don't eat beans to this day. I don't like beans. They don't feel good to my mouth and they don't feel good to my teeth. So I don't eat beans. I don't eat beans. Like I don't like eating beans. I've eaten beans before. Like if I'm hella hungry, alright, whatever, I'll eat these beans. But I don't like the foods that I didn't like as a kid. I still don't like them today. And for all the kids who are punished because they couldn't finish their dinners because of how the food tasted, or because of how it smelled, or because the food got too cold, so you couldn't eat it, but now you're being forced to eat that food, I bet you that the majority of those kids who are adults now, they still don't like those foods. You don't start enjoying Brussels sprouts at 25. That's not how this works. I mean, maybe, potentially, but in my experience, I found out that if you hate a food at 7, you tend to hate it for life. Laura says, I wanted a dog so I could... And Adrian says, beans taste ashy. Beans, yeah, I just don't like them. Blake, it's so good to hear from you. Every now and then I hear from people who I haven't heard from in years, and it makes me feel so good. Blake, Williamsburg. It's so good to see how great you have become and how much you are touching others' lives. Blake, thank you so much. I worked with Blake back in Williamsburg, Virginia at the psychiatric hospital. Blake, thank you so much for your support. And I mean, life is crazy. I have a community of people. These people are my family. These people on Facebook here. These people on TikTok here. These people on YouTube. People from across the world. These folks are my family, and they've been riding with me for quite some time. So it's I tell people all the time to take that leap. I could not have lived with myself if I didn't take the leap and moved out to California and just go all in on social media and look at the people that we've met, look at the lives that we've touched. We just hit 1 billion views on Facebook alone this year. So in 2025 we've garnered over 1 billion views. I don't even know what to say about that. It doesn't even make sense to me. I found out today, so I'll go back and I'll think about this later on tonight and see what that means. I don't know what that means because I just come on here and I just make my videos, and I do it every day because I love it. But it's very cool to have this community. So just thank you. I can't stop thanking y'all. I really appreciate y'all. Blake, I appreciate that. I'm never gonna quit. I feel like I'm just starting. I feel like I haven't even started yet. I'm just as hungry, if not hungrier. I'm never gonna stop. I'm hella hungry. I think about ideas all the time. My brain always has ideas and videos and things I want to bring to life and people that I want to connect with. So we won't stop. We're just not getting started. So I really appreciate this. Sir Ware, Dr. Ware, I appreciate you. Yeah, doing everything I said I would. And we're going to stick to the topic here, but it is emotional for me with today being the day that we hit 1 billion views in 1 year on Facebook. But yeah, just doing what you say you're going to do and for all the neurodivergence in the chat, it's a big confidence booster. ADHD, autism, or I mean, bipolar, whatever you, just in general, when you do what you say you're gonna do, you keep the promises that you make to yourself. It's the best feeling. I mean, I don't think a girl has ever made me feel as good as I felt when I do what I say I'm about to do. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Dr. Lindsay, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're having fun here. We are still having fun. And I'm always scheming. We're just not getting started. Alright, so the 4 signs of autism at home. Number three. Needing a lot of time to recharge. Okay? And this is probably the one that most people can relate to. So don't think of this as a sign that, alright, like I know I'm autistic because when I get home I get really tired. But this is somebody who, you could have had a great day. Like you could have had like a day where you went out, you hung out with friends, you hung out with coworkers that you liked, and you did all the things that you wanted to do. And you planned to come home and play video games, or you planned to come home and, hop on, call with more friends. But once you got home, you were just exhausted. And when this happens, more than likely, you're done by 1, 2 p.m. But you know that you have to use that remaining social battery to carry it, on a couple of conversations with people. Maybe a couple of friends will call you at the end of the day, or maybe at work you got some spreadsheets or some work to do. So you'll hang in there and you'll talk to people and you'll let your soul die internally until you can get home. And then when you get home, you just run out of energy. You have no energy and you don't know what to do because you're tired. And the type of fatigue that you have is not the fatigue that you have after working like a long 8, 12, 10-hour shift. That will also drain you, right? But this is a constant thing. And on days where you don't have to socialize with as many people, like a day where let's say you go out, you run a couple of errands, you come back to the house, and you call like one friend, you're not as drained. But I'm talking about a day where you've gone out. Even a day where you've gone out on the weekends, and it's one of these big holidays, and you have to stand in traffic, or when you go to a game. I love sports games, and like we do a lot of the skits at sports games, sporting events. But if the game was a blowout, and especially if it's not my favorite team, like playing, or if my Titans are getting, blasted, which has been happening as of late, I will leave in the fourth quarter with let me see, like 8 minutes left, just to beat the traffic. And this is not specific to just LA; it's everywhere. Because if you leave with 8 minutes left, that saves you maybe an hour of staying in traffic and dealing with people. People are screaming, people trying to cut you off, and you're already overstimulated. And because you know that you get burnt out pretty easily, you'll do anything possible to conserve your energy, anything that you can do to just give you a little bit of extra energy. So even if it's leaving the game early, or in baseball, if I'm at a Dodgers game and the Dodgers are beating somebody like 10-2, playoff baseball is not included. If it's a playoff game, I'm going to sit there the whole way. Playoffs are different, right? But if it's a regular season game between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies, and the Dodgers are up 12-1, I'm going to leave after the 7th inning stretch. I'm not going to stay for the rest of the game. Now, if there's fireworks or something like that, I might. You go out to the game and your girl wants to see the fireworks and you want to leave, but they're like, no, I want to see fireworks. All right, fine. We can, yeah, sure. We'll do the fireworks. But it's almost like you have an exit plan for every social outing, because you know that it's going to take a lot of energy. A whole lot of energy. And this is why I always recommend, if you're neurodivergent and you get burnt out quickly, go out to the party, go out to the funeral, go to the wedding, go to the work outing, but always take your own car. Always don't make the mistake of not taking your car. I've done this 3 too many times. Don't make the mistake of not taking your own car. Oh, I'll save some gas. I'll go out with, yeah. They'll come and scoop me up, and then that way I can be on my phone. I don't have to drive. No. Trust me when I say this, just take your own car. Because there's nothing worse than having a buddy who's having a great time and you're like, hey man, like, whenever you're ready to go, I'm ready to go. Because that's how you say, I want to leave. You don't say, I want to leave. You say, hey, whenever you're ready, like, I'm cool. And they're like, all right, cool, yeah. Let me just talk to a couple of people. If you had taken your own car, you could have dipped out. You text them, all right, man, like, I had it home. Like, it's all good. I'm tired. But when you have to wait for somebody for a ride, just take your own car. Take your own car. Lindsay, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Autumn says, bro, I can't drive. All right, so look, Autumn, if you can't drive and, okay, that presents a good dilemma. You can't drive, but you want to leave the function when you're drained. What I would do in that situation is I would go, but I would have an event that is forcing you to leave. So let's say you're going out to the game with friends, but you have a big recital, or just, you have a dinner with your parents who are coming from out of town at 7 o'clock, right? Go at 5 p.m. So that way you know that you have to leave within like an hour and a half. Like you can spend like an hour there, and if you really hate going out, go at 6 p.m. and just tell your friends, hey, I can be here for maybe 20, 30 minutes, but I gotta go back and have dinner with my parents. So then they'll have that pressure on them to, take you to the next spot. Say, hey, I can go, but I can only stay for so long because I have another event planned. So I always have an escape. I always have an escape. And there's an art to doing this. And this is where women with autism are pretty good, because they're good at masking and social camouflaging and making it look like everything is okay. So you'll go out to these events because you still want to be invited, but you found a way to get out of these events. You can charm a couple of people and smile and hug, but after quite some time, you're ready to leave. And because you brought your own car, you dipped out. You dipped out. For instance, I'll be so mad they didn't tell me before, but I'll be like, okay, fine. Right, they should tell you. They shouldn't blindside you. They shouldn't blindside you. Have an exit. Be your own exit. Yeah, I agree. Lindsay, if you can be your own exit, it's just better that way. And almost at my sister's wedding, and this is what, like a year and a half ago, I didn't bring my car, and I was letting people drive me around. I'm helping out. After the wedding was over, I waited for like maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes for a ride, and I was like, I could have been home by now. I feel like how I felt when I was doing after school activities and the bus had left and I had to sit there and wait for my mom, and I'm in high school. Oh my God, this is just too much. It's just too much. Too much. Laura, I appreciate you. Love your video about bipolar. I appreciate you. And we're going to have some more bipolar videos coming. I see the DMs, a lot of questions about the difference between the different bipolars, 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to have some more videos coming out. So Miss Laura, I appreciate you. I like reading bios. It says wife, mom times 5, travel, immigration. Wow, mom times 5. Congratulations. Congratulations. Could be a lot of work. All right, so that was the third potential sign of autism at home. Number 4 right here. Number 4. And this can apply to more people than just people who specifically have autism, but watching TV with subtitles on. All right, so if you're the type of person who you have to have subtitles on to hear TV or to hear the movie on Netflix, there's a reason why. If you watch my live streams on the book, if you watch my lives, and TikTok does not do it. I don't know why they don't do it. YouTube does not do it. I don't know why they don't do it. But if you watch my live streams on the book, you will see that there's automatic closed captioning. I probably think this is one of the coolest features. this is one of the coolest features of my live stream on the book, because, and I'm watching myself now. So like, I got the phone, but I'm watching myself to the right, and I'm seeing the words on the screen as I talk. So for the person who's watching me on the book, but they're in a place where they can't really, like play the volume, you can look at the words that I'm saying, and you can decipher and determine whether you would like to put some headphones in, whether you like to continue watching the live stream. It kind of gives you a preview of what you're going to get yourself into without even clicking the video. It's such a neat feature. Like, we need to bring it to TikTok. So my folks on TikTok who watch my live stream, I hope you catch this part. Let's get some subtitles on TikTok and on the tube. But that's one of the coolest things about Facebook. You can see the closed captioning. And Twitch also has that, I think. But Facebook, it comes automatically. You can see the closed captioning. And the reason why you like it is because it gives you a sense of like comfort and predictability. You don't have to struggle to anticipate what is going to be said. You can kind of see it. And Envy says, wow, this is a one. Oh yeah. This is a one-on-one experience. It's a one-on-one experience. I don't know if I'm crazy, but I think we are going to get married someday. I'm not sure if I have space for a fifth wife. I might be in trouble. The president of Ghana might arrest me. Laura says, yes, partly I have 3 kids, mostly because of processing. I learned this early, how I process audio and speech. It won't. Right. It is a processing thing. When subtitles are on, it makes things easier. And if you're somebody who's used to watching TV and programming with subtitles, it's very frustrating to keep up with some type of an event or TV program without the subtitles. In fact, it might make it unwatchable for you, because as you watch what they're saying, you're also reading. Our brains are funny. So like, you're reading what they're saying and you're also watching it at the same time. So if you can't see the subtitles, every now and then when somebody says a word that you can't quite pick up on what they said, you're going to be stuck trying to figure out what they said and how it applies to the grand scheme of everything. It's quite confusing, and I like watching things with subtitles. When they're not on, I try my best to put subtitles on. For people who speak different languages, I know some folks, I got some Hispanic homies who want to watch things with the Hispanic subtitles on. Or they have different languages, obviously, and with AI and all these improvements, I'm sure that we can put any subtitle, in any different language on there. But it's pretty important. And being able to find comfort in the fact that you can anticipate what's coming is I think that's a very cool thing. The fact that we have that is pretty cool. Because when you look at autism and autonomy, there's not a lot of autonomy a lot of times. You need external help from other people in order to thrive and to survive. So you're always wondering, in a sense, when do I have to get some help from this person? I need help from that person. I don't understand what's being said. And also, autism is a condition that makes it difficult for you to communicate with people, because you communicate and experience the world differently from others. So when you're watching something and the subtitles are right there, you're getting the same information twice. It just makes it easier. And if you feel this way, it doesn't mean that you're autistic, but it makes things easy. And I think that the people who make these technologies understand this. I was at a Meta conference. Sorry, TikTok. I know they don't like me saying that, but I was at a Meta conference about a month ago in San Francisco, and I was listening to Mark Zuckerberg speak about the new Meta Ray-Ban glasses. Not these ones. I got these ones at that conference, but the ones that just came out 2 or 3 weeks ago. They are these Meta glasses with this neural band, which you wear right here, and you can turn up the volume by just doing this with your fingertips. And one of the coolest features of these new glasses is that you can talk to somebody. And they show us a demo from people talking on the street in New York. You can talk to somebody, and as you're having a conversation with somebody within the glasses, you can read the subtitles of what they're saying. So that's the world that we're headed to. That's where things are headed to. And you know that the people who make these technologies, they have the data on us. They know what we like to watch. They know what we like to do. They give us ads of the things that we talk about. That's why you talk about something with your friends, you open up the phone, there's an ad for that thing right there. Because they're tracking your behaviors. They see how you operate. And if you can have a conversation with somebody, and through your AI glasses, you can have subtitles, that's the next level right there. That's the next level. Can the glasses pick up on things going on in your peripheral vision? Francine, I'm not sure, and I'm not a representative for Meta. I just went to the event and I have a relationship with them, but they I'm not sure. I like the glasses. I'm not being paid to say that, but I generally like the glasses. Dolce, you can DM us your email, and then we will send all of our information to you. My assistant John will shoot you an email with the link to all of the services that we have. And Lindsay said totally. Fake. Somebody's name is Fake Gyllenhaal. Fake Gyllenhaal, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. That's a cool name right there. Fake Gyllenhaal. And Laura says, I have to do video calls rather than phone calls due to this. Oh. Laura, I completely get that. Some people like to FaceTime more than, audio calls, because communication is more than just words. In fact, the majority of communication has not been verbal. So if you're on a FaceTime with somebody, you can see how they're saying things. And depending on the conversation that you're having, it probably is good to FaceTime somebody or meet them in person, because a lot of things can be taken out of context via text. You can think somebody's upset at you if they didn't put the right exclamation mark in the right place. So yeah, depending on what you're talking about, it could be helpful to FaceTime somebody or just meet up with them. Yeah, Jessica, I really like these glasses. I was going to take them off for the live stream, but I realized that they matched this blue shirt, which I was already wearing. I tend to wear this shirt. I have like 8 of these shirts in 3 different colors. Navy blue, black, and white. Part of the repeating clothes type of thing. It just makes it easier for me. All right, and let's go ahead and do some Q&A real quick. Do some Q&A and let me answer some questions from the community. Also checking with my people on the tube. My people who are on the tube, are y'all doing okay? Are y'all good? Tina says, all my leggings are black and my shirts are mostly black and white. And I have some with wine red color. And I only go outside the house when I shower before. Oh, okay. So you got a whole system for how you get out of the house. Queen says, OMG, I'm having some serious realizations. Okay, Queen. I see. Let me pick up on what else I've seen. Autumn. Yeah, and I use that to learn new languages too, like with bilingual subtitles. That's a great way to learn a new language. To watch a show that you really enjoy and watch that show either in a certain language and then put the subtitles in a different language, or vice versa. Because it forces you to understand, like you sync up what they're saying with what's being on the screen. So when you see a certain phrase and you see over and over and over again, then you're like, oh, this means that they're upset. I like that. Okay, wow. NB Human Kentucky. Alright. I see some of y'all's bios. Jenlyn, what's going on? And Arm says, yeah, I have this shirt. I really like the texture, and I bought one in each color. Yeah, when you find a certain type of clothing item that you like, there's nothing cooler. You can literally repeat that thing over and over again. Yeah, that's why I don't like phone therapy. I rather video call. And in-person beats everything. Bethany's in North Carolina. What's up, Bethany? We're in the Q&A section of the live stream. Missy, what's going on? Missy, I appreciate you. I got these Meta Ray-Ban glasses on. They have some AI capabilities, but I'm not sure what they do. But thank you very much. Missy, we were talking about the 4 signs of autism at home. Not that there's like 4 clear signs of autism at home. I just made a list of 4 things that you could experience at home if you're autistic. And now we are in the Q&A section. Amy says, what resources are there for people who do not have insurance to see if they can get an autism assessment, if any? That's a really good question. I would say that if you don't have the money for an autism assessment and you want to find resources, in this day and age, I would find a couple of creators that you like online who speak about this particular topic, myself included, but find the creators who you like and look at their videos about certain topics that have to do with autism, and go deeper. Don't just leave it at autism. Search up Dr. Kojo Autism Communication, Dr. Kojo Autism Mood Swings, or insert whatever person you really like, and search that person's name, autism communication, autism sensory overload, and figure out who are the experts in those different fields. And look at what they say when it comes to dealing with, these sensory sensitivities or dealing with pursuing a diagnosis. So we're in the interest media era when it comes to the internet. That's the term that Gary Vee uses. He's an entrepreneur and a YouTuber, which means that people follow people based off of what they're interested in. So you follow people based off of what value they can provide for you. But if you're not a video person, then I would say look for people who write books. There's a guy called Dr. I want to say it's Dr. Soul Smith. Dr. Soul Smith. Yes, Soul Smith, Autism and ADHD Life Coach. So once again, if that's somebody that y'all identify with and you want to check out his services, definitely look him up on social media. He makes a lot of great content when it comes to autism and neurodivergence. And his most recent book is called The Autistic's Guide to Self-Discovery, Flourishing as a Neurodivergent Adult. I have the book. I like it. I wrote some of the foreword in the book. So if you get this book, you'll see a couple of sentences from yours truly in this book. But when I opened up the book, I was blown away by how accurate the book was. I didn't know the book was that good. I wouldn't have agreed to write the foreword for the book if I didn't believe in the project. But once I got the actual book, I was like, wow, this is an outstanding book. And it's called The Autistic's Guide to Self-Discovery, Flourishing as a Neurodivergent Adult. The book was released on April the 22nd, 2025. So, great question. Great question. Molly says, I bought multiple pairs of the same style of Brooks tennis shoes, which have gotten comments about, but Brooks changes the style annually, so when I find something that works, I buy a bunch. And look, Molly, some people they're gonna hate you regardless that you're wearing the same type of shoe, but after grade school, I think we're liberated and we can wear whatever shoe we want. Like, that was really only an issue for me in middle school. In high school, it wasn't that bad, but middle school, that was the worst. You really couldn't repeat the same pair of shoes. It was bad, and I only had one pair of shoes. That was rough. Dr. Lindsay, I appreciate that. Guys, and if you navigate yourself, if you navigate your way to my bio, within the bio we have the neurodivergent community, and this is where I want all my neurodivergents to come together. This is a paid community, and hopefully you will find other like-minded individuals like you who can help you with whatever stage you're at in life. Being around like-minded individuals is key because you can see what they're doing for themselves, and then as you hang around people who are better in certain things than you, and vice versa, hopefully you can make some strides in your life. So I don't believe that every person who watches me or everybody who likes or shares my content needs a psychiatric evaluation. Not everybody needs coaching, but a community of like-minded individuals where y'all are all pursuing the same type of goal or even just for the validation of the experiences that you're having. I think it's pretty cool. And if you're watching on the book, you can navigate your way to the link in my bio. If you're watching on YouTube, same thing. Navigate your way to the link in my bio. You can do that as well on TikTok. You could literally just go to my page and the link is there. But if you want the fancy email from my team, we will send an email to you if you DM your email. We'll email you with the link to all of our services. And Dr. Lindsay, I appreciate you as well. Awesome. Who writes that book? Let me see who writes that book. If it's a bit older, maybe I don't know the person. I'm asking Autism. Has it come out yet? It was published in 2022. Alright, so I have not read this book. I don't know Devin Price. I actually know a lot of these people personally now, but I don't know who Dr. Price is. But the book has good reviews. #1 bestseller in children's and adolescents autism spectrum. So perhaps I should check this book out myself. But I'm not familiar with Dr. Price or his work. I've never heard of him, believe it or not. So I'm always learning myself too, but I don't know who Dr. Price is. But clearly, a lot of the work that he's doing is impacting people in a very positive way. That's super cool though. He's fabulous, tuning in from Texas. What are some of my goals for 2026? My biggest goal for 2026 is to eliminate distractions. So that's my goal for 2026. I want to eliminate distractions, double down on the things that I do well, and anything that doesn't help me push the needle towards what I want is a distraction. So there's a lot of loneliness that comes with choosing this path, but I choose this intentionally and gladly. But eliminating distractions, and the biggest distraction that I will have to eliminate will be outcomes. So it's still important to track the numbers, and we hit 1 billion views in 2025 on Facebook. So I'm not going to stop tracking numbers because it's an important metric to evaluate what's working and what's not working. But outcomes and sometimes numbers are a distraction, and you can get high off your own supply, and you can lose track of what's important very easily, or you can lose momentum and get thrown off very easily. That's a challenge. So eliminating distractions in the form of outcomes. I saw a Nick Saban video where he talks about it, and Nick Saban is one of the best coaches of all time. So when you're obsessed about the process and how you do things, you don't really have to worry about outcomes, because sometimes you can get lucky doing a couple of things really well over a period of time. I don't think I'm lucky. To get 5 million followers and 100 monthly views and 1 billion views within a year, and that's just on one platform. That's not luck. So that's staying power. I'm here to stay, but I can still get better with my process. Working on getting sleep, and the gym is not an issue for me, but just getting more sleep and taking care of my body and eliminating distractions. Distractions are everywhere, online and in person, and just being in this industry, there's a lot of distractions. So I just want to eliminate them as much as I can and just focus on the outcome. Not the outcome. Focus on the process. The process, and becoming more and more obsessed with that. So that's my new hyperfixation that I hope will stay. Becoming obsessed with the process. Positive goals and truth. No, the top is lonely. It's very lonely, and I gladly welcome it. Lindsay Tello says, I'm getting my autism feedback to see if I'm autistic after testing next week. Lindsay, we're rooting for you. We're rooting for you. Hopefully you pass that test if you want to. Ali from Texas, what's going on? What's going on? Thoughts on bipolar, hysterectomy, and ADHD meds made mania bad. Luckily, I'm not roaming the streets. Dr. Lindsay, I appreciate that. Yes, so pray for me as I become more process-oriented and detach myself from the outcome, which is very hard. That's been a struggle for me since I started posting online. It's very difficult to detach from the outcomes. Super Amy, so here's the thing. I'm happy that you're not in the streets anymore. The streets are very cold. It's getting cold now, so I'm happy you're not in the streets. With bipolar, a lot of people think that if you have bipolar disorder, you can't take ADHD meds, and you can, but at least the way I was trained with bipolar disorder and ADHD, you have to treat the bipolar first. If you go the other way, then you're making a big mistake. And all the real ones know. And this is actually where I can put a plug in for Dr. Lindsay. She runs a Psych NP Bootcamp, and that link is also in my bio. And this is for providers who want to sharpen their diagnostic skills. So first and foremost, you have to diagnose the right thing. And if somebody has bipolar disorder and ADHD, I see this all the time. People either don't diagnose one of the conditions, right? Or even if they diagnose both of them, you have to treat the bipolar first. Because if you use the right mood stabilizer, which is what we treat bipolar disorder with, then they can take their ADHD meds without being concerned about mania. But people don't get the mood stabilizer, so now you're taking these meds, because when you have bipolar disorder and it's not managed, sometimes you can have racing thoughts, you can have difficulty concentrating, you can lose your appetite, and you can go to your provider, and maybe your provider didn't go to Dr. Lindsay's boot camp, and the provider will say, oh, it looks like ADHD, we'll give you a stimulant. And maybe it was the right medication, but it could have been the right medication at the wrong time because you had the stimulant without the mood stabilizer. So this is really psychiatry 101 in my opinion, but not everybody knows this. So you got to treat the bipolar first, and then you come back around and treat the ADHD. And what I find is that when you treat the bipolar first, you solve about 50% of the concentration issues. You can concentrate, you can focus, you can sleep on time, you can wake up on time. It works like magic. And then some people go on to do ADHD meds, and some people don't want to do that, but you have to go in the right order, or else you're messing up. Yeah, you're messing up. Yeah, Super Amy, I think that's a diagnosis issue. Megan Cotton says, what about mental health in the Black community? So Megan, mental health in the Black community is it's something that I have goals of being more active in the Black community. I don't make content for Black people specifically, and I don't make content for autistic people or bipolar. Like, I make content for everybody. We talk about all the different conditions: schizoaffective, schizophrenia, bipolar, ADHD, autism, PTSD, trauma, personality disorders, and for people of all backgrounds. But in the Black community, we don't talk about mental health enough. And I will be intentional about making more content, stitching more content to where I can reach the Black community, because we don't talk about mental health. And I saw a video of Gucci Mane talking about having schizophrenia and bipolar episodes, and how he had to take medication for it, and how he goes to therapy, and how his wife will take his phone away when he's having an episode, which I think is an outstanding idea. Because as a public figure, and I mean, forget being a public figure or being famous, when you're going through a manic episode that is really bad, it can be helpful for a friend or a family member or somebody to take your phone away, or to take your credit card away. These are all key things that I want to get out to the Black community. So, Megan, yes, I will be more intentional about that moving forward. I really want to get better at that. And Super Amy, it could have been a misdiagnosis. Who knows? What about anxiety? Would you treat anxiety first and ADHD after? Mel, great question, Mel. It depends on what's the source of the anxiety. So sometimes the source of the anxiety is the untreated ADHD. In that case, you treat the ADHD first. Sometimes the source of the anxiety is environmental issues. If somebody is in an abusive relationship and they're afraid to go home, like, you got to adjust the environment. So it depends on the nature of the anxiety. Yeah, Lindsay, yeah, Gucci Mane and his wife were on the Breakfast Club talking about having schizophrenia and bipolar episodes. So that's how they said it. They said schizophrenia and bipolar episodes. And me knowing more about mental health, I know that you can't have both at the same time. It would be schizoaffective, or it would be bipolar disorder with psychotic features. But that's not important. The most important thing is that they came out and they're normalizing it. So, Lindsay, that's big facts. And Misty, that is love, and it is looking out. That's a deep form of love. Somebody taking your phone away in the Manic episode, big facts. And Laura says, ADHD meds unmasked my autism potential. Right, and that's kind of how we see things. So, like, before a lot of people can get diagnosed with autism, you have to, like, treat any type of mood symptoms that are there. Assess for bipolar, make sure it's not there. If it's there, you treat that. And then, now we can look at ADHD and autism. Once the ADHD is treated with the meds and lifestyle modifications, then we can really take a close look at autism. So there's a way that you have to do these, but that's more so for your doctor to know, and for y'all to know what you have to advocate for. What's my PhD in? Doctor of Nursing Practice degree with specialty in psychiatry and mental health. Jessamy Drew. Great question. Great question. Oh, guys. Oh, my goodness. Oh, what a live stream. Alright, so as we wrap up this live stream, let's go ahead and get the topic for tomorrow. Like I said, these live streams, I'm aiming for Tuesdays and Thursdays every week. That is sustainable for me. And my Titans don't play on Thursday Night Football this year. That was my big concern with live streaming on Thursdays if my team plays. But we're not playing this year on Thursday Night Football, and we're not good anyway. So, whatever. Like, I'm not worried about that no more. So, we have a live stream tomorrow, and today's live stream was Autism at Home May Look Like. Tomorrow's live stream is Autism and Women May Look Like. So signs of autism and women. And this is a topic that we reviewed before, but it's a classic. So we're going to go back and review this one. And we're going to do the live stream tomorrow on this. You can register for the live stream ahead of time on TikTok. So you can do that on my page, on the talk. And you can also, but actually, we're going to work to put the live streams on the book ahead of time. Because I want to give my Meta family the chance to catch a live stream that they can register for. People tend to tune in regardless, but I feel like if you can anticipate the live stream, you'll feel a little bit better. We all like anticipation around here. So, alright y'all, that is it for tonight's live stream. I'm going to go ahead and hop on a meeting with my assistant. You know, there's still more work left to be done, and I got to hit the gym, and I got to get some sleep. So, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank you for your support. It means the world to me. And I'll see y'all tomorrow at 6 o'clock California time, which is 9 o'clock New York time, which is 8 o'clock Nashville time, which is 7 o'clock Phoenix time, which is 6 o'clock San Diego time, Seattle time, which is 5 o'clock Alaska time, which is 3 o'clock Honolulu, Hawaii time. And all of this should be 2 a.m. UK time. So for my UK boys and girls, if y'all wake up to watch me, you certainly don't have to. All these live streams, you can catch the playback on Facebook, but that's the order, and that's the timing for tomorrow's live stream, which will be the final live stream of the week. It should be pretty good. So until then, oh, Molly says my phone gets a message when you're live. All right, Molly, I think most people like that on Facebook. Like, you get the little message and notification, and I'll see if I can put it as an event on the homepage. We're going to experiment with that, and I'll bring that up to my assistant. So, and Victoria wants us to mention New Zealand, so it's 4 p.m. New Zealand time. So if you're watching and you're from New Zealand, then it will be 4 p.m. tomorrow. in New Zealand. That's when I've been going live. All right, peace out. Take care. Love y'all.